Three,
Well,
one, go.
welcome to the Insider's Guide, the show where we explore how young people can break into exciting careers, whether that's in tech, sports, or entrepreneurship. I'm Ahan.
And I'm Aditya. Today's guest is someone truly extraordinary. At just 13 years old, he's already a computer science major at San José State University, was accepted into Duke University, and has racked up serious experience in AI and software engineering.
He's also the co-founder of GradAchiever, a platform supporting student success, and he's interned at companies like TrueNil while working on real-world projects in AI and machine learning.
We're talking about none other than Krishang Naikar. Whether you're curious about how to fast track your education, dive into AI, or start building projects while you're still in high school, this episode is for you.
Krishang, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and share a bit about my journey.
Yeah, sure. So, how it's going to be structured, we're going to start off with our guest background and journey.
So for
Yeah.
our first question in the guest background section, let's start from the very beginning. You're 15 years old and already in college. That's not something we hear every day. Can you walk us through how this journey started? When did you first realize school felt too easy? And how did that lead into finishing coursework so quickly?
So it all started during the pandemic. At the time, I was like a normal fourth grader. So during summer break, I used to game a lot, and my mom found that as like a really like a big waste of time. So she would make me do extra work through like Khan Academy, and this is how we found out that I was gifted. So I used to go through the work like much quicker than she expected, and out of nowhere, I had finished pre-calc before going into fifth grade. So to keep me occupied, she enrolled me into part-time high school, which meant I was doing both fifth grade and ninth grade together.
That sounds great, Prashant. To move
Yeah.
on to the next question, you mentioned Khan Academy and credit transfer programs really accelerating things for you. Can you explain how those worked and what role your family played? Well, you explained that a little in helping you make that jump.
Yeah, so credit transfer programs they played a huge role. The ability to gain valid high school credits, even though I was in elementary, like it really accelerated my path to college because it meant I was able to get take all the courses earlier and faster than other kids would be able to. And my parents were really supportive too. They encouraged me to keep challenging myself, but also made sure I wasn't getting burned out.
That's great.
Got it. And when you did decide to skip to 10th grade, that must have been a big change academically as well. So, how did you adjust being so much younger than all the other students out there?
I mean, socially, it wasn't too different than being at home during the pandemic, except I would still get a decent amount of physical interaction through like meeting neighbors and sport practices. Being younger than my peers wasn't too much of an issue either because they didn't care enough to say or do anything.
Got it. So we're gonna move on to our next section, which is the main discussion with three subsections inside it. So our first subsection is getting into college. So our question for that is most students are just starting high school at 15 and you're starting college. What was your application process for you? Like, what was your reaction when you got accepted into top tier schools?
So my like the college apps were pretty normal since I had valid credits from high school. So I applied like any other high schooler would have. But my reaction I was like amazed at like which colleges I got into. I mean, I expected a few like CSU, East Bay and stuff, but Duke I definitely didn't expect.
Great to hear.
So, yeah, you chose San Jose State over Duke, which is definitely surprising. So, could you explain why you made that choice and what factors mattered to you the most when you chose a college?
So I chose SJSU because of two main reasons. One, that it was close to home, and the second was because even though it isn't known by many students in Stanford and more FANG hires as well.
Got it. So for students who are listening who might be interested in
Yeah.
applying to colleges early, what advice would you give on how to stand out on your applications?
I would say don't focus on grades. Build projects and go for certifications and get internships if you can. Like show colleges that you don't just memorize, you apply what you learn, and that's really like what makes an application stand out.
Great to hear.
So, you were talking about certification. So, on that topic, you've already completed Andrew Ng's machine learning course, Udacity Nano Green AI programming with Python, and even certifications in cybersecurity and self-driving cars. So, what compelled you to AI so early, and what about the field do you look forward to the most?
So AI fascinated me because it's about teaching machines to learn the way humans do. Andrew and G's machine learning course was a game changer for me. It showed what was possible, and from there I dove into nanodegrees, certifications, and projects because I wanted to keep pushing my limits.
So could you explain a little bit further about those certifications, like how long they took, what the process was like, how much commitment there was?
So Andrew and G's certification was I think a month or two, so it wasn't too long, and they had they made us build a few projects which were like it was really cool. And then after that, I did some nano degrees. That was I think 3 or 4 months. That also like we created like a few classification models, like image. Basically, we'd classify flowers and animals just from pictures. And then yeah, and then the cybersecurity, I wanted to look at like new spaces, so I did that too.
That was great, Krishang. To move on to our next question, a lot of students struggle with advanced concepts such as programming and AI. What's your approach to picking up material so quickly, and how do you stay motivated when topics get tough without giving up?
So I break things into small goals. So if I don't understand a concept, I try building something simple with it, like a small Python script or model. That hands-on practice keeps me motivated because I can see the progress, even when the theory feels overwhelming.
That's great.
That's great to hear, Krishang. Also you've also worked on real projects like building data pipelines, web scraping systems, and AI tools like ZentroQ and TrueNil. How did those opportunities come about, and what did you learn from applying classroom knowledge to real world work itself?
So the opportunities came about because I would just apply to like as many jobs as I could on LinkedIn, like basically like any other person. And the internships at those places, like they gave me a chance to apply what I learned. For in TrueNil, I was building data pipelines, and in GradAchiever, I myself, the CEO, I was scrape systems to get information, and just like that, even in Zentrock, I built like some AI pipelines as well. So it like gave me like real world experience.
Got it. Okay, so moving on to our second to last section, which is entrepreneurship at a young age. So you co-founded GradAchiever. So could you explain in depth what GradAchiever is and what inspired you to start it?
So GradAchiever started because I wanted to help high school students. Since I'm a first generation uh, like a grad student here in US, my parents graduated from India, so I didn't really have like the resources or strategies to like know which what colleges to do or like what internships to do. So I created GradAchiever to like help those kind of students and give them a direction and help them get into colleges.
So just to understand a little bit better, what was the process like starting it from ground up all the way to a big business?
So I mean, first, I just created like a prototype idea. I created a website, and then after that, I created the LLC, and then I just kept on adding little features here and there, which helped me bring more members in, and it's just that loop.
That's great, Krishang. So more on the topic of gratitude, like how did you specifically attract your first customers or users? And like what strategies just worked best? Like you said, you just did it in incremental processes, maybe a little bit more detail in that.
So my first customers were from word of mouth. So friends who needed guidance. Some older like I have some older friends, so they needed help, so I helped them with GradAchiever. And then after that, like they also gave they also told their friends, and like so on. It made a little network, and then after that, I started running ads and stuff, and I created a social media platform so that like more people from online also came into my website.
Got it. That's great to hear, Krishang. Now, as we stated before, in terms of AI, with AI transforming education in today's world, how would you plan to integrate AI into GradAchiever's platform or services?
I mean, AI has a huge potential in education, like from personalized learning paths to adaptive tutoring. We're already exploring ways to use AI to tailor resources for each student based on their strengths and weaknesses.
Got it. That's great to hear, Krishang.
So last but not least for this section, Balancing entrepreneurship with school at such a young age is definitely challenging. How do you manage your time and what have you learned from running a startup?
It's definitely challenging, but I rely on structure. I block time for classes, projects, and GradAchiever. The biggest lesson I've learned is that you don't need more hours. You need more work focused hours.
That makes sense. It's great advice for Shang.
Got it. So moving on to our final section, which is opportunities for high schoolers. So what kind of opportunities does GradAchiever open up to high schoolers that other places do not offer?
So we give high schoolers a roadmap, whether it's early college, internships, or building passion projects. Most schools don't teach you how to navigate that, so we fill in the gap.
Sounds great.
Now, Sean, what are some underrated opportunities for that high schoolers often overlook that you would recommend and get started with right now?
I'd say don't overlook online courses and open source contributions. They're free, accessible, and give you real world experience that's often more valuable than just another class.
Sounds great.
So on that topic, you're talking about open source contributions. So are there any open source contributions you have worked on that you've
So,
seen as beneficial?
so TrueNil was open source for a bit before they shut down, but yeah, that's the only one I've worked on.
Okay.
Sounds great. So we're gonna go on to our final section, which is rapid fire Q&A. So just like tell me the first word that comes to your mind or first sentence, right? So one course every student should take.
Andrew and G's machine learning course.
And drink. Okay, that's great. Coffee, tea, or energy drinks to get that focus, you know?
Honestly, water.
Water? Okay,
Got
I
it.
see.
What about your morning routine?
Usually I wake up at around 8, quick workout, and then check my schedule, and then do classes or coding.
That's great.
If you weren't studying computer science or AI, what would you be doing instead?
Probably entrepreneurship or even psychology. I love how understanding how people think.
Sounds great. And to end it off with your entrepreneurship background, describe your leadership in 3 words.
Vision, empathy, and persistence.
It's a great answer.
So finally, moving on to the closing section, Krishang, before we wrap up, what is one final piece of advice you'd give to all the high schoolers out there who want to pursue big goals, whether that's getting into college early, diving into AI, or starting their own startup?
If I had to give one piece of advice, it would be don't wait for permission to start. Whether it's AI, entrepreneurship, or getting ahead in school, there are many free resources out there. Start small, be consistent, and you'll be amazed at how far you can go.
That's great. Thank you so much, Krishang, for hopping on our podcast. Your journey shows that age doesn't define capability or put a limit on persistence in life.
For everyone listening, remember, opportunities don't wait. The earlier you start, the faster you grow. Until next time, thanks for tuning in to the Insider's Guide.
All right, thank you.
Great.